An injury almost sidelined me. I've been working hard to rebuild, pushing to get fit. My first Padel Tournament of 2025 is just around the corner, but am I ready for it? Let's find out. So, what tournament then? I've entered the LTA Grade 2 at Rocket Padel in Ilford, where some of the country's best players will be. Winning even one match would be huge, especially after a knee injury I sustained recently. Even after that slip, I managed to finish the game, but in the days that followed, it was clear that something wasn't right. Rest helped, but with the Grade 2 coming up, I couldn't take any chances. So, I met with my PT in order to discuss what had happened so that we could work on strengthening my knee and hopefully preventing it from flaring up again. And here he is. This is David Peters, and I know what you're thinking. The guy's got two first names, James. What an absolute and you know, I ruddy agree. He is an absolute and worst of all, he frequently physically hurts me. I joke, of course. David is a great mate, an integral part to my weight loss and fitness, specifically when it comes to helping me towards achieving my goals within Padel. I discussed with him my knee injury and he modified the work we were doing together. Go. A successful session with David meant that I was feeling good, and the following morning I felt really loose, which was a really good sign, no pain at all. So I had a friendly match lined up in preparation for the Grade 2 at the weekend, and that was at Padel for All in Southend, which is my local club. And if there was one thing that I really wanted to achieve inside of this match, it was to show intensity and just go for it. And just to introduce everyone, we've got Brad, who is playing with Charles, and then we've got Rob, who's playing with myself. Here are the match highlights. Now, we actually lost this first point of the match, but within this first point, to be able to hit quite a few different shots, it's really good personally for my confidence so early on in a match. I've done some overheads, done some half volleys, I've done a bit of movement, and yes, if I'm being completely critical, after that last vibra at the end, I should have been rushing into the net, because when Brad hit that forehand down to my feet, if I was just a little bit further ahead, I would have got that one over. But even with that, I still felt good, which was a good sign for me. So, 40-15, first game still. Serve from myself, great lob here from Brad. That pretty much is right at the back glass. Lob back from myself. Now this point, I'm showing it because of the movement here from me. With what I've been going through with my knee pain and how very tentative that I can be, and sluggish with my movement in general, I just felt lighter on my feet in this match, and that makes a huge difference. Lob here from myself, and Brad just putting that one wide. It's one love to myself and Rob. So, break point here in the second game on Charles's serve. It's 30-40, and this was a pretty hard-hitting point with some very close volleys and some cool angles. And right at the end, I managed to take one of Brad's shots and find the space down to his right-hand side for us to take the break point. Right, so 3-love to myself and Rob, 40-30 game point to Brad and Charles. Once again, I just really want to double down on my own movement and intensity. I've not been lighter on my feet than inside of this match ever. And I know this probably all looks super basic, but for me, it's a really big win. And then on this point, after my lucky net cord in the previous point, at deuce now, the luck was then with Charles. Advantage now to Brad and Charles, return there from Rob, volley from myself. I find the space there with that backhand, really strong backhand volley there. And Rob here with an awesome vibra, great pace, great spin on it. And that now means it's deuce, we save game point. And on the next point, I managed to see that backhand cross court for us to have break point. And on break point, Brad serves, return there from Rob, Charles just into the net. It's 4-love, first set. And I'll be honest, it felt really good to just be able to play with some freedom and feel loose and actually have some confidence in my own performance within a match, which doesn't happen all too often for me. And we found ourselves with a set point at 30-40, and just watch this backhand cross-court winner from Rob. Fantastic angle, great pace, 6-love, first set. And coming into the second set, myself and Rob, what we were discussing is we just really wanted to keep up the intensity level. Sometimes you can have a great first set, and then you drop off your energy levels, become complacent, and then you let your opponents back into the game. That's not what we wanted. Great serve there from Rob. He closes out the first game of the second set, 1-love. And just to say as well, Brad and Charles, they're really good players. And Brad right there, after a serve, what he does really well is he pounces and he charges the net. And he often finishes off with a volley or a smash with a lot of pace. And 15-love here in the second game. And something I found some success with is the Chiquita opening up the space and then putting a volley at the right pace into that space. And 40-15 here, Brad here with the volley, getting a little bit lucky with the net cord. I wouldn't have got it anyway, it's 1-all. And a game later, we had break point at 30-40, Charles serving. Some great defence there from Rob, and that last overhead from Charles I let hit the back glass, and I managed to find the space in the middle of both Brad and Charles. It's 3-1. And this point here just really showcases the power and versatility of Rob's overheads. Check out these 3 smashes. We've got one powerful smash, another powerful smash, and then we're going for a beautifully executed Vibra to the side and back glass. Awesome stuff. 4-1. And this was a section of the match that went from deuce to add many times. And the thing with a Chiquita here is if you do it right, and many times I don't, but if you do it right, then your opponent has to play up. And if your opponent has to play up, then you are creating an opportunity to get an easier ball. And Brad here looks like he's going for the flat smash and then he fakes it. He does this so well, and he honestly got us at least 45 times in this game alone. So here we are, advantage to Brad and to Charles, and this was a really awesome point. Some fantastic defence from both Brad and from Charles, and I thought in just a moment here that the point was over after the smash from Rob. And you'll see here I essentially stopped playing, but the point continued, and a strong volley here from Rob, Brad getting it back, and yeah, I managed to just finish this point by being a little bit more aggressive than I am usually, which again I say just comes back to that intensity. Deuce. And here's another example of Brad with his fake smash, lob from myself, and here we go. So good, gets me every single time. And in the next point right here, Brad with the serve executes the drop shot and closes out the game for 4-2. But then a couple of games later, we had a match point at 30-40, and just here, Brad goes for the poach, hits the net, and myself and Rob win 6-love, 6-2. It was a really good, friendly preparation match for the grade 2. Intensity and aggression levels felt good, my knee felt fine, and I can only hope that continues into the tournament. Thank you to Brad, Charles and Rob for playing an awesome match, and if you have loved this video, then please drop me a like, drop a comment, and subscribe. I'd massively appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next one for a full rundown of how I did at my first tournament of 2025.